Hey laser gamers, Jade here. I figured today I'll do a story time because you seem to like the last one that had a Karen story time. So this story time is my personal experience with an ex. Now this is when I was with him. I'm not with him now, obviously. Haven't been with him for a good 10 years. And I don't regret, well, I regret being with him and what happened, but I don't regret what's wrong with him now. Now, me and him met back in grade 5. He didn't go to the same school. We went to this thing called youth group for kids, which was at a church, and anyone after school could go there, have a little fun on Fridays, meet new people. I met him there. First day, I already had a crush on him. I saw him, he seemed cute. And then the second week I saw him, my best friend forced me to be in a group with him. And then we talked, we got along. Turns out the next day, he went to my house to see if I was there. I wasn't. I was out with my best friend, which I thought was really sweet. From there, we found each other on Facebook, talked, we hung out, and we started dating. At first, it seemed perfect. He was, I would class my first serious relationship, I guess, because me and him were on and off for about, up till when I was in year 8. Now, I don't know if you would class that as a long relationship, but in a way it kind of was, because it was on and off every month until I left. And everything seemed perfect. He treated me right, he spent time with me, and then things took a turn. It got worse when we got into year 7. Now, at the time, when we started year 7, we weren't dating, but we were still friends. I know, probably a bad idea, but I was young and stupid. Still am stupid, but still. And another boy had asked me out, and I said yes, because he looked cute, we got along. Mind you, it was like the second day after starting high school, so probably not the best idea. Me and him went together for 5 months. Everything seemed fine. Except for that ex that would try and make rumors to make me and him break up. In the end, it worked. So, and then after that, I constantly got bullied. But good old Tyler, being the good guy I thought he was, would be there for me. We started dating not long afterwards. He got real bad after that. Now, some of the stuff I didn't realize until last year when learning about stuff. But that's when he really showed his colors, I guess you could say. He started emotionally abusing me and manipulating me. If people weren't in our friend group, I couldn't be friends with them. He got real jealous if I started dating another guy when me and him weren't together. He got real jealous, do anything to break me and that guy up. And all the time it fucking worked. Sorry for my swearing. And it got to the point where one day me and him were at his house by himself because he had just gotten surgery on his appendix, and I thought, hey, I'll go up, see how he's doing, help out around the house, because his mom, dad, and sister and other brother decided they wanted to go to the beach. So they went to the beach, and me and him that day, we kind of took our relationship to the next stage. Not engagement or anything, activity you do in a certain room that you should probably wait till you're not 14, maybe a bit older in your life, but whatever. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of judgment and hate for what I mentioned, either about what I've done or what he's done, but this is just all I've noticed and why he will forever be labeled the worst ex I've ever had. And boyfriend when I was with him. After that, me and him would constantly have this activity. And I found out that he was trying to get me pregnant. Now, this is the part that's going to make me sound like an absolute asshole. But one stage I did get pregnant. It was horrifying. Not because I didn't want one with him. It's because my parents really did not like him. Not a little bit. My dad even had a plan to end his existence, so to say. Make him go Van off. It was that bad. So I panicked. And my mom beforehand, because my dad didn't know I lost it to him. It's only my mom and sisters that know. And when I found out, before I found out, my mom had already said to me, if I got pregnant at a young age, no choice in the matter, immediate abortion. I wouldn't have a choice. So I didn't tell her. Instead, I starved myself and would constantly hit that area of myself. Of course, it did pass away. And yes, I feel terrible about it, but at the same time, I didn't have a choice. I wasn't ready, and my dad would have flipped out, and oh my God, I probably would have lost a life that day, meaning mine. So that happened. I never told anyone about me doing that. This is the first time I've opened up about it. There's a few people that know, but not a lot. I do hate it. I do hate I had to do that, but if you knew how it was at the time, it was terrible. At this stage as well, he started to, it was very, very start. It didn't go too far, but he also started to physically abuse me. So he emotionally abused me, he manipulated me, and then he started physical abusing. Yay. And because I thought he was the one and madly in love, I stayed. It got to the point of manipulation and emotional abuse that he made me believe my family didn't love me. He made me believe my dad hated me. He made me believe that no one in my house loved me and that I should run away. And at one point I did. I ran away for a whole week. First 2 nights I stayed at my best guy friend at the time. I stayed at his for 2 nights. Third night I stayed at my ex's. Fourth night I stayed at my other friend Katie's house. Now I don't think she subscribed to this channel. If any of you I'm mentioning in this story are subscribed, hi! Don't worry, I'm not mentioning names. Well, except for Katie. Anyway, and what was that? That was the 4th night. 5th night, I stayed at my nan's for the rest, but the 5th night I didn't want to because I was scared to face her. So I tried to sneak back off to Tyler's. Shit, I just said his name. Fuck it. You don't know his last name, it's all good. There's that many Tylers. Anyway. And then what happened was, my half-brother picked me up. I just call him my full brother because why not? He saw me, he picked me up, and as he was about to drop me off at my nan's, me and him sat down and had a pretty serious talk. He pointed out a lot of bad things with Tyler. He pointed out with my dad that he does love me, because even before Tyler came along, I didn't think Dad loved me because I was getting severely bullied and bashed to the point that I started doing harming myself and even tried to end my existence myself. Yes, it was very dark, and I know this story may be very dark and upsetting to a lot of people, especially if they've been through something similar or even have mental illness. Don't want to call it an illness, but mental problems like me. I know it's gonna bring out a lot of hurt and all sorts of emotions. But this story is purely to teach you all a lesson and understand that these things do happen. They really do. You don't notice, and like some people can make it seem like it's so perfect, nothing's wrong. But in the end, this stuff happens. And with emotional abuse, you don't notice it. Like, again, I only found out at the start of last year that I was emotionally abused and everything. I only found out last year. Now that's sad. Like, at the time I was learning all of it, but I didn't understand it. And plus, it's not easy to pinpoint when you're in a relationship, because at first they make it all seem perfect, and then you gain a lot of trust. And then when it starts happening, you just overcome with the thoughts. It's hard and upsetting, but all you guys can do, or anyone going through it, I know it's scary, I know it's hard, but the best you can do is leave. If you feel like you can't do that yourself, get your parents, get a teacher, get the police. Because if you stay, it's just gonna get worse and worse. And that ain't healthy. I would know, obviously. Like, I still seek help to this day to help with my mental health. To also get over my past. Because there's a lot of other stuff that happened in my past. This is like the first story time I'm doing about my past. If you like it, fantastic. Let me know if you want to hear any other more story times from my past or even experience my friends have had. But again, this is mainly just a learning, not learning for me, but teaching others out there, even younger people, because everyone should know. Anyway, so then I had that talk, back to the story. Then I had that talk with my brother. My brother then dropped me off at my nan's, and I walked in scared as hell. Nan was bawling her eyes out, I was bawling my eyes out, we were hugging. The next day, I went to school, like always, and when I came home that day, my nan had bought me a new phone because I destroyed my old one and mum and dad had taken it off me. So nan bought me a new phone. It was just like this cheap Android or something from, I think it was Kmart or something. I didn't mind though, it was a phone, I needed it. Not because I was obsessed with social media, but because in case something happened, you know. And then the next day, I didn't go to school because my older sister had messaged my nan to ask her if she could take me out to lunch to have a talk with me as well. So we did that, and so we had that talk, more tears, more meltdowns, more hugs. And that night again, I stayed at my nan's. The next night, when it came the week I wasn't home, I didn't go to school again, because it was the weekend at that point. And I decided to stay at mum and dad's. Dad wasn't home yet from work, so I didn't have to worry about seeing him. But when I saw mum, I just couldn't. I cried and she cried. It wasn't great. And I even found out from my mum that during the week I was gone, whenever mum and dad were on the phone, dad would cry. And it's so rare to see or hear my dad cry. And when I was informed that broke me. Not just because I hurt my family. Well, mainly because I hurt my family. But also because that really showed that dad did care and love me. And then that was also what also started opening my eyes to what Tyler was doing. So after that night, staying back home with everyone, I decided to not continue staying at my nan's. I decided I'm gonna come back home. And since then, for the rest of that year, mind you, this was in year 8 when all this happened. By that time, it was near the end. Mum and dad had completely taken me out of school because they were transferring me, well, not transferring, kind of transferring me to a different school. Now, there were other schools down here closer to me, but not a lot of them had a good reputation, or it was just too big of a school for me to adjust to, which honestly, it would have been. My school, it wasn't small. It had like maybe up to 1,000, but other schools had like close to like freaking 5,000. Like, no thanks, I'm good. And then we heard of a school up in Millburn North. I don't know if you know where that is. If you do, it's a beautiful place, I'll admit that. We found out they actually had a high school up there, right next to the primary school. And I got into there and did my final years of high school. I graduated. I'm now currently in TAFE doing education support. If you don't know, that's a teacher's aide pretty much. And I've gotten a lot better. And that school was, if I could recommend any school down here to anyone, I'd say Millburn North. They had people that were willing to listen to you. They did everything to help you. Everything. And they were so supportive of everything, including the LGBTQ+. Now that was good. Because at that time, I was becoming more open with my likes for the different genders. Now, I'm bisexual, if you didn't know. So I can date women and men. I think they're both attractive and very nice. Yet I've been single for 3 years, but that's beside the point. I can date both of them. Not at the same time, because that's still classed as cheating in my books, but I can date them. And so I went up there, and yeah, the teachers were so nice, so helpful. And when I graduated, the principal sat with me and said that every teacher was so proud of how far I've come from when I started. Because when I started, I was obviously in such a dark place after experiencing all that. And like the bullying. I was scared that coming to a new school, I'm going to get bullied again. But surprisingly, I only got bullied once. And that was in year 12. By a bunch of freaking year 9s. They mainly bullied me and my friend group because of our sexuality. At first we ignored them, but it was just getting to the point. Anyway, that could be a story for another time. But that school was so loving, and when the principal said to me that I was their biggest, I wouldn't say achievement, but that it showed them that their school was good for students like me. And honestly, that made me happy. Like, I loved that school. Still do. I even remember first week when I had my big meltdown at that school. My friends in the same class as me, and the entire 2 art classes, because I was in art class at the time I had that meltdown. And these 2 friends found me and handed me my art book. And at the back, there were so many lovely letters from everyone. Actually, I still have it. I'm gonna have to try and find it, but I know I still have it. Just need to remember where it is. Oh no, that ain't it. That's my big portfolio. Actually, I'll show you that too. It ain't great. I'll admit that. But not the thing I'm looking for. I don't think where my mom would have put it. Plus, it's been years I've actually looked at this thing, so God knows. I know I still have it because I refuse to throw it out because of it being, you know, so sweet. I think I found it. Hold up. Come on, where is it? I know it's somewhere. If I can't find it, I'll do another video where I read what everyone wrote. Yeah, it's taking too long to find it. If I do find it though, I will definitely show you what everyone wrote. And if you want, I'll even do a separate video going through my old portfolio that I did in studio art in year 11. Anyway. Now, if you're curious about where said ex is in his life now, he now does hardcore drugs. He's dating, I think, a 27-year-old. He's 20 now. He has 3 kids, get this, forbidden to see any of them because he's hardcore on drugs. Now, I don't feel bad for him because he's a douche and karma happens. But I do feel bad for the one girl he had a kid with. Like, because they were doing fine until a few days before the kid was due, he said to her that he was going to harm her and the baby. But yeah, that's my story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want more story times, let me know in the comments below. And again, I know this is going to bring a lot of heartache and probably make me sound like a bad person for what I did. And I know it's going to make him sound bad, but him I don't really care about. He wants to hurt people, he can hurt people, but he ain't hurting me anymore. Anyway, hope you all have a lovely day. Morning, I should say. Hope you all have a lovely morning. Please give this video a big thumbs up because then it shows you want more story times, or even leave a comment down below what you think how this story was. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and make sure to press the little bell icon to make sure you get notified about when I upload. Have a good one.